benefits. So we can talk about this all day long if you want me to.
Yeah.
You've got the ability to, you own 100% of it. You get 100% of the appreciation. You get 100% of the tax benefits, but you only put maybe 20% down. The bank puts the rest. So but you're getting the benefit of the cash flow from the entire property.
Yeah, I wish everybody just understood the simplicity of this, because getting rich is actually easier than staying poor. Do you agree with that?
It is, when you learn and you focus. The problem is we're not taught that in school. We're taught to be an employee. We're taught to be told what to do instead of to be curious and creative and go out there and solve a problem and serve a need. And when I talk about assets, Grant, yes, real estate people, the wealthiest people in the world either made their money through real estate or they hold it in real estate. But there's also businesses. Businesses is the American dream. That's the greatest way to create wealth, to build a business that you have other people run. Incredible asset. And intellectual property, what you know. If you know something that you want to share with people, it's a great asset to generate income. And then, of course, there's the entire paper assets, where it becomes stocks, bonds, mutual funds. But again, diversification is across all asset categories, so that if one goes down, you're protected with the others.
Would you tell somebody, Sharone, you've been around the game, you've met a lot of people worldwide, spoken all over the world. Would you tell people to start a business, or to buy, to jump onto or buy or bargain, negotiate for an existing business?
Well, my new book, Exit Rich, helps you learn how to buy a business. But again, starting a business, it's not easy. Entrepreneurship can be a very lonely space. You have to make sure you have the right people around you to build it. Many times you've been an employee, you've been working with peers, and you're hot stuff. So you decide, I'm going to go out on my own and create my own business. And you get out there and everybody's looking to you for all the answers. And it's a scary deal. Yeah. You need to surround yourself with the right mentor, the right people who are strong where you are weak. So there's nothing more fulfilling than starting a business from the beginning and building it, but it's not easy. So yes, you can buy an existing business, but you also need to make sure you do due diligence to make sure that you truly can 10x it. All right, I'm using your term, but be able to, that is something that it's not on the dying side. Why are they selling? That would be my first question. Make sure you understand why they're selling.
I think there's a lot of people out there that are selling business because COVID kicked them in the face. Like, they're like tired. They're beat up. They're like, I don't want any more. I know that in the apartment space, you got guys selling apartments that they're just tired. They're like, I'm tired of the evictions. I don't want to play the game anymore. I've been through that, done that. I got mine. I just want my money. I want to take my money off the table.
Now, there's so much money out there, Grant. You're so right. But the flip side of that coin, Grant, is that in 2020, there was a 20% increase in getting new business IDs, federal IDs for new businesses for the United States. But in 2021, year to date, 60% over 2020.
Wow.
And this is fantastic for you and I who are out here wanting to help these people start their business and build them, and a lot of them is because they got right-sized or outsized, and they got scared and said, I need to start my own business. But this is a huge pendulum swing in the world of entrepreneurship, and we need to be there to support you. That's my goal, is to help people get their businesses up and going, and don't try to do it by yourself. I mean, I can guarantee you, between Grant and I, we've made every mistake in the book, and we survived, and we learned how to get around it. And we're here to help people not have those same mistakes and help them accelerate their process to success.
God, I wish I could have all my mistakes back. Oh my gosh. The biggest mistake, Sharone, I made was just thinking too small in the beginning. Can you just speak about the importance of big think when it comes to money?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, I have the Play Big movement in Facebook because of that. We all have things that stop us, things that happen to us, death, divorce, illness, and we end up playing small. We go insular, and we can't do that. We all have a gift to share, and you're cheating people if you're not making it available to everyone. And if you think bigger, and part of the problem is they hang around with people who are playing at the same level they are, All right. You want to hang around with people who are playing that bigger game so that you not only learn from them, but you gain that energy and ideas and amazing opportunities. If you're not there, it's all about proximity. If you're not there, you're going to continue staying in a small pond because you're not taking the action. Expand. More people need to know you're all experts. Nobody's had your successes or your learning opportunities. The question is, are you turning that into the gift that you were given? Because you got through it. You can help other people going through it, but you got to be smart. You got to build the business so that it can scale. And that's the biggest thing, Grant. People aren't playing a bigger game because they haven't put the foundation in their business. They don't understand how to scale. And they end up owning a job, not a business.
Right. And that's what I did for between 30 and probably 45, 15 years. I just worked in my job, at my job. I was so happy about my commissions. I was so excited about my income. I was doing so well. I was getting a name. I was getting a brand. I was starting to, but you're dealing with problems all the day, every day. Customer problems, acquisition problems. I was everything. The travel, I booked my own travel. I was my assistant. I did my own accounting. Everything. And the problem was I spent no time on my money. And had I not been fearful about money, I would have reinvested more money in myself and the connecting, what you just said about the proximity to people. I always went back to my loved ones. I went back to mom, sister, brother, and my uncle, my uncle who everybody adored and thought was the grand solution to everything because he was the most successful guy. But all their thinking was so limited. These were the loved ones. And I never went, hey, why don't I go meet with the people at Goldman Sachs? Why don't I go meet with the guy worth $100 million rather than a millionaire? That changed everything for me, Sharon. How important, who have you been around in your career where they just pop your head off and you're just like, whoa, another level? And what did that do for you?
Well, Mike and I are good friends with quite a few billionaires, and it's something that, you just sitting in the same room and listening to them talk about one dear friend who's been a friend forever, and we've been on his yacht all over the world. He owned the licensing rights for Mercedes in China. All right.
Wow.
So you talk about expanding your mindset to what's possible. And then, of course, as we expanded the Rich Dad Company around the world, the people that I got to meet and the organizations that helped us with that, it just expands amazing. Rob Walton is a neighbor down the street. He's the chairman of, Walmart and Sam's Club. So we constantly are around people that challenge us in our own thinking. I mean, we're very successful, but I just sit back and go, wow.
Yeah.
I'm thinking pretty small compared to these guys. And it's something that, but it's good because it makes you step outside your comfort zone. So Grant, I always challenge everybody. So I want everybody that's watching and listening right now. When was the last time you did something for the first time? Mm-hmm. Think about it. When was the last time you did something for the first time? Because I know you, Grant, you're always seeking something new, something different. Me too, as I challenge myself to do it. Because if not, I get in a rut. I get into the same thing, habits of every day. And habits related to money are important to have, discipline. But always looking at what new problem can I solve? What new need can I serve? Get really good at what you do. Don't get spread too thin. Focus it, get it, become successful, get that financial freedom, and then be able to go into other fields as well.
Talk to me about debt, Sharon, because Mr. Wonderful yesterday, he's like, he hates and despises debt. Until you dig down, he's like, oh no, that's cool to take that debt. That debt's cool, but So talk to me about the power of debt as an instrument and an asset, and also as a liability.
I love it. I love debt. There's good debt. There's bad debt. Some people in my field that are good friends of mine say, cut up your credit cards or put them in the freezer. I go, the credit card isn't the problem. It's a piece of plastic. Right. It's the person holding the credit card that is the problem. And understand, if you're going to borrow money, borrow it so that it can build an asset. Mm-hmm. Don't borrow money for the purse. Borrow money for the investment, all right? And make sure that you're going to have a return on that. Good debt, accelerates your pathway to success. Now, too much debt, we saw what happened in 2008. That was stupid, crazy debt. But bad debt just puts you in a deeper, digger hole. And for instance, you buy stuff for your kids, and by the time the bill comes in on your credit card, they've already broken it, or they've gone on to the next thing. And you go, well, okay, that wasn't worth it, but now you have to pay the piper. Bad debt holds you back and controls you. As I said earlier, money, you either control your money or it controls you. Bad debt controls you, and it causes breakups in marriage. It causes all kinds of physical stress, physical ailments, because you're allowing it. You're just scarcity. You're so fearful, and fear paralyzes you. And you got to turn that into energy and say, I'm going to get out of bad debt, and I'm going to find a way to start buying, building, creating income producing assets one at a time.
Talk to me about, because I see a lot of people saving money, putting money in a checking, a savings account, and this concept, the old miracle of compound interest that I believe, but that doesn't exist today. You cannot compound interest at the Bank of America. And when you and I were growing up, checking and savings were paying 10 and 12%, 8%. Money was doubling every 6 years, 7 years. How would you change your investment philosophy today?
Well, I'm not a big proponent in compound interest today because of that very same fact. Our cost of living is at a higher rate than our savings rate. And so your compound income comes from investing in investments that have momentum. Money follows motion. And so motion comes from, and we say, well, an apartment building doesn't have motion. Oh, yes, it does. It's got lots of motion in its bank account. If it's managed properly, it can create great motion and as well as give you tremendous tax benefits. Companies that are growing and expanding, that are, you do your due diligence for, they're in motion. They're out there solving problems. Money in a savings account is going in the wrong direction. It's not just stopped dead still. It's actually losing value. And so pay attention to what your money is doing. And yes, you and I may not agree on this. I do believe that everyone should have an emergency fund, and it shouldn't be your credit line on your credit cards. You should have an emergency fund and depending on what your lifestyle is, maybe it's 3 months, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year. But I do recommend to my clients that they have that, even though that amount of money may not be momentum for them. It gives them the ability to sleep at night.
You would throw the emergency fund away, though, if they had enough passive income.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So we're not in disagreement about that. You'd be like, you don't need an emergency fund. If you have another 800 grand coming in or 80,000 coming in next month, that is your emergency fund, right?
That's right.
So what investments do you like? I know everybody's bombing us right now with what investments does Sharone like right now? And everybody loves you, by the way. If you love Sharone Lecter, man, please post it down below. She's been so generous with her time tonight. Money follows motion, absolutely. What investments do you like? Oh my God, they're going crazy. They love you. I wish people loved me the way they love you.
Hey, we're in proximity of each other. I'll share the love.
Okay.
And
good,
they love.
good.
And Grant, there is no doubt that these people love you, right, guys?
Yeah.
Even though you challenge